Hi guys! I'm very happy to see you all again. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for liking. I am very grateful to you because I share my innermost thoughts. I decided to record another video on the same topic, how to stop suffering, with a specific clear technique. If you have enough determination and intention, this is the kind of work that won't feel routine or exhausting or bring you unpleasant feelings. On the contrary, it's something that lifts you up, that gives you freedom. Work is such a silly word. I don't like the word work. Our human nature is such that the secret is to do one or several actions consistently. This leads to results. So what exactly needs to be done? What techniques should be practiced? What exercises to stop suffering? I'm making a disclaimer. This whole video is for your mind. It's not for your heart, because the heart doesn't need specific techniques. It's only the mind that digs into all of this is trying to get to the truth and wants some specifics. I'll attach a video here about how I started this topic in the first place. It's better to watch it because there I explored where suffering comes from, the very nature of suffering. And here it's just, I'll summarize briefly. I think you'll agree with me when I say that we suffer because of our minds. That is, if we are in the moment right now, not thinking about the past or the future, then there is no suffering at all. Well, that is, in the moment right now, everything is always good. You've probably heard this phrase before, many times, but it's true. Just check it out. If you can turn off your mind for just a few minutes, you'll be surprised at how much energy suddenly comes to you, because you spend a colossal amount of energy processing thoughts about the past or the future. Because of this, you get tired. So, the cause of your suffering is usually negative thoughts. If we go further, there are the negative thoughts we can experience, like dissatisfaction and resentment. Now, I will attach a visualization, a spectrum of negative feelings, emotions, and so on. Let's take a look at all these negative thoughts and take a step back. What is their nature? Who is their parent? Think about this now. Give yourself 10 seconds. You understand that the parent of all your negative thoughts is fear. Any of its interpretations, any of its variations, it's still fear. So the fear that money will run out, the fear that you won't be able to grow personally, fear that your neighbor will take your husband, the fear that someone at work is trying to undermine you. You understand that behind any of your negative emotions lies fear. But what if we take another step back? So there are these fears, right? Different kinds. Now imagine that they are standing in a row. The fear of this, the fear of that, and so on. And who is their parent? What is the scariest fear that a person has? It's the fear of death, of course. So the fear of death is the very fear that underlies all the negative emotions that make you suffer. Essentially, what makes you suffer are the great-great-great-great-great-grandparents of all your negative emotions, the fear of death. So what do we come to? We come to the conclusion that we need to eliminate this cause, the fear of death, or accept it, whichever is more comfortable for you, so that it no longer triggers you, so that it doesn't give rise to further fear and doesn't create more negative emotions. And here a very simple technique comes to the rescue. You need to remember, just remember that you are not the body. The fear of death is the fear of the death of the body, but you are not the body, not a person, and not the mind. You were before. Will be after, you are during. You are an infinite eternal presence that is not connected to what happens to this body. It's very easy to check. Presence is always the same. Right now, you see an image, pay attention, you see some kind of frame. You're sitting in a room watching this YouTube. When you were 5 years old, the feeling of presence was exactly the same. Now you're 25, let's say. You see the same image and the presence remains the same. When you are 60, you will see this picture in exactly the same way. And you will feel it in exactly the same way. No matter what happens to the body, presence always remains the same. It never changes. It just looks, it observes. This is you, you see, not the body. You were never born. You will never die. Because you were never born. There's no point in being afraid here. So this fear of death, it's built in like a program in your body, in your mind, in your consciousness to preserve the body, actually. But you gave it so much power that it has enslaved you. It generates all sorts of fears, negative emotions, and consumes the energy that you have been given for creation. There's absolutely nothing to be afraid of here. Well, okay, this statement might be quite difficult to understand. Let's go with some simpler techniques. On a practical level, I'll explain how to reach this awareness. Because if you have this awareness, your life will be a life without fear. This will give you complete control over what is happening. Remind yourself that you are not your body, not a person, and not your mind. Moreover, remind yourself that you are both creating and living at the same time. This scenario, you consciously create, live, and observe this scenario. You are the programmer, the computer, the program, and the process of creating the program at the same time. What fear could there be here? Fear of what? Many people think, I'll move to another city, have a child. I'm building a different job and I'll stop suffering. More money, that's probably the most common belief, that if you earn more money, you won't suffer at all. Guys, this is probably the most common misconception that has existed throughout human history. Nothing from the outside will give you relief from suffering. Nothing. You need to adapt within yourself, and then it won't matter where you live. The right partner will be drawn to you. You'll be happy in any job. There's no difference in the external. Everything happens within. If you've changed something internally, your external reality changes because you see it as a mirror. Okay, this disclaimer was for those who thought that if they suddenly move and buy tickets, now somewhere to Dubai or wherever everyone is moving to, or to Bali, they would have a better life. Or if I break up with this guy or change my job, my life will change and I will stop suffering. No, it won't change. Do you know why? Because if you have a lot of money, you'll immediately start thinking about how to keep it safe. It will be scary to lose them. If you have a new relationship, you'll be afraid of losing that relationship. You'll start comparing. If you move to another city, you'll definitely start comparing it to your previous experience. Mind's essence and nature are based on duality, and duality is always suffering. It's always a contrast. There are always two poles and a spectrum within those two poles. That's the nature of the mind, but through duality, we come to know matter. That's the experience. Let's continue in the more practical way. Long story short, you need to take control of your mind. Because all suffering comes from the mind? Yes. Why do they say that suffering comes from the mind? You will become a Buddha if you gain mastery over your mind, if you tame it. How can you gain control over your mind? Well, of course, meditation. But I'll tell you this, I believe that we are so absolute. You are so absolute that whatever you believe works, it will work for you. Meditation is a way to calm the mind, to turn off thoughts. But please don't listen to these pseudo-gurus who say that you need to meditate only this way or that. Meditation is the only way. No, of course, whatever you believe in, that it will work for you, and that is what you will experience. Because you are so absolute that you will direct your energy into belief. It will materialize. It will manifest in matter. If you believe that meditation works, then it will work for you. If you believe that meditation works by sitting like this, then that's exactly how it will work for you. If you believe that only Vipassana works for you, then only Vipassana will work for you. If you believe that you don't need any meditation and that you just need to walk in the forest, then that's what will work for you. So it's about the technique itself, because you absolutely don't listen to anyone who says you have to do it exactly this way or exactly that way. These people are just sharing their direct experience. For you, it might be something different. Don't limit yourself with specific rules. There are no strict rules. And right now in this particular video, I'm sharing specifically my methods, my techniques about how get closer to complete silence in the head, that this is calming down, this is the end of suffering. So meditation is a good way to calm the mind. You can't achieve the effect if you don't do it consistently. Guys, our being is structured in such a way that we need to do something consistently. So please, just meditate for 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day living without thoughts. Then you'll get used to it. What's next? Everything related to the body. Focusing on the body also helps to rein in thoughts. Yoga is a good practice. Try yoga, but essentially what yoga does is that you focus your attention on your body. Accordingly, you take your attention away from thoughts. Any technique that helps you take your attention away from thoughts will help you. It can also be a breathing practice. Any breathing exercises you like, focus your attention on your body, on your breath. You run away into thoughts and then bring it back. And the more you bring your attention back to your body, the less energy you give to your thoughts. Why do so many people, for example, engage in all sorts of adrenaline-producing activities? For example, bungee jumping or skydiving or something like that. Surfing is the same. It's also a pretty adrenaline-producing activity because it switches attention very, very quickly to the specific moment, here and now, away from your thoughts. For them, it's meditation, you see. So for them, it has the same effect as meditation ultimately. Although one cannot compare one thing to another, but the meaning is the same. Switching from the mind either to the present moment, either to the body, or fixate on something but take it away from there. You understand? Your task is to take it away from there. You can do meditation, you can do yoga, you can do everything that involves attention in the body, breathing practices, some active load on the body, adrenaline-producing activities. If you enjoy it, of course, if you love it, surfing, riding, on a snowboard, the port is just as wonderful. It shifts your attention. So your task is to shift your attention to focus on the now or on the body, or to fixate on a certain point. Regarding the moment here and now, I want to emphasize that I'll share a link to a video with an exercise for concentration. In the moment here and now, if you do this exercise twice a week, 3 times a week, guys, it's an incredible effect, I promise you. Just give it a try. You have no idea how much energy you will free up. I'm just talking about myself. As soon as I stopped giving energy to my thoughts, I just started waking up every morning and began to enjoy myself. As soon as you realize that you're suffering, they are directly related to the number of thoughts you load into your head. Your main goal will be getting rid of unnecessary thoughts, taking back control over your mind, and you will forget about suffering. Write in the comments, do you think? What else would you like to talk about? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And your comments and views motivate me incredibly to make even more videos and share more knowledge. Thank you.